So the first is you mentioned this idea of a modest deficit, and you gave some parameters of like maybe what type of a calorie deficit that could be, and these calculators. And that is by no means to imply that the best way or the universal way is for people to calculate calorie needs and things like that. That is a way to get an estimate of what the size of this deficit, what these parameters could look like. But this is not recommending that everybody, broadly speaking, be counting, tracking, weighing, measuring calories. There's a lot of different ways that you can go about generating a calorie deficit. Although I've not been in a situation where I've deliberately tried to lose large amounts of body fat, I have at various times, as have you, manipulated our body weight in various directions. And during none of those times have I ever weighed and tracked and measured calories. As we've talked about before, I tend to have generally more similar eating patterns day to day than not. And based on how I tend to auto kind of regulate, monitor my weight day to day, I will just make modest adjustments to my meals as a way to bump them up in calories if I want to gain a little bit of weight, or bump them back down if I want to take it in the other direction. And none of that involves dedicated weighing and measuring, but that is a tool if you're like, I have no idea what I'm even talking about, what amount of calories is in a given portion of food item that I'm consuming.
Yep.
The second
Yes.
thing, oh, go ahead.
No, it's kind of like a layered approach, right? So let's just say that your stock breakfast, your default breakfast for whatever reason is, you know, 6 eggs, 4 whites, 2 yolks, a cup of oatmeal, a tablespoon of peanut butter, and 2 pieces of fruit. That's your default breakfast. I know that's not your default breakfast, but let's just say that it is. In a time where you were trying to lose body weight, you might alter that. Okay, I'm going to remove the peanut butter. I'm going to do all egg whites, for example. And all you've done is kind of remove a layer from that particular meal. And if you do that across all meals and you're able to maintain that, great. Now, people who can do that, that's another approach. It is not the approach, it is just an approach that can work. Same thing with like if people prefer calorie targets or macro targets and want to weigh and measure, that's all fine. But there are many different ways to do this. It's just an approach that can be used.
Yeah, the other thing I was going to mention is in the context of fast versus slow weight loss, less oriented around performance, because the other thing that I could see some people taking away is like, yes, we care about performance, we care about strength and muscle mass, therefore like slow weight loss is always the move. And I would say that's definitely not the case. So there are going to be several health related situations where I would say more rapid weight loss would be, to the person's benefit, and then we can build the strength and the muscle mass later, and that's okay.